Now, where do we leave off? Now that we have better audio, we could get this thing fixed. I apologize for that. It's only bad for the first couple of minutes on that video. Then it fixes itself, whatever technical problems it was having. But let's get it in. This is the truth behind the 50 Cent, Jimmy Iovine, and Interscope beef. This really started later on in the career of 50 Cent because Jimmy liked 50. You know? He didn't believe in the project at first, but once it was rolling and he spoke to him and he saw the type of moves 50 Cent was making with his own team, he was inspired because 50 was willing to listen, unlike other rappers. And that's what Jimmy would tell him, like, 50, you're so much smarter than these other guys. You know, they got so much hood bravado. They like, oh, my block. It's like, your block? Are you kidding me? We're talking about a deal that's going to net you $12 million in the next 3-4 years. If you cared about your block, you'll live on your block. You don't live on your block anymore. So 50, I'm glad, he was very happy to see 50 think like a businessman when it came to making these type of deals. And Jimmy didn't really bring all this to the table. 50 had his own team working. They just created the platform to where all of this was available for him. So it was a win-win for them because it kept 50 popular. But he went way past anything they've ever imagined as far as his business team, his marketing strategy, and the way he was hands-on with a lot of the things that was happening with his career. He wouldn't just defer and turn his back. Like, he was trying to have a piece of everything. But after the success of the first album, this is where the first strain came in. Disco Inferno. They were at they didn't know what CD to put out to be the lead single. So Just a Little Bit came out, and then Disco Inferno comes out because they're like, 50 wanted Disco Inferno, they wanted Just a Little Bit. It ended up, they were like, 50, don't do this, because 50 had already put the money into the video and everything. Like, they getting ready to launch this video. How you gonna tell them this ain't the time to do it? Then all of a sudden, it's well, okay, 50. 50, are you sure this is what you want to do? Jimmy's not gonna come talk to him direct. They got representatives that come there, but this is the message they send back to 50. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Just listen let's follow the plan, follow the way it's set up. Because 50 was mad because the album got bootlegged so much they had to bump it up. And it was supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, and it didn't. So they had to push it back. And that messed up everything because it was supposed to have been the Valentine's Day Massacre. So the fact that the album wasn't completed in time the way it was supposed to be, and the launch and all the promotion wasn't set up right, 50 was pissed because the whole theme of the album was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. And that's what 50 wanted it to come out on Valentine's Day, so people go out and grab it. It was going to do some big numbers on Valentine's Day. People going to want to grab it for their girl as a gift. The skit on there is Happy Valentine's Day. But they ended up having to cut St. Valentine's off and just call it The Massacre. And that cost money. So 50 wasn't finna listen to the studio anymore. He released Disco Inferno on his own. That's how he had 2 songs charting at the same time in the top 10 Both songs were a success. And they were like, wow, this guy must really knows what he's talking about. Because normally when you do that at that time, one song would fail while the other one would succeed. And you basically wasted a good song. Now you got 2 songs in the top 10. And he's trying to tell him, see, it can happen. You just got to put it out there. I know the climate. And then once 50 Cent was being right a lot of the time, and after the Massacre album came out, they went to the movie. Everything was smooth. Here is where the problems are starting to come in. 50's getting ready for his 3rd album, the Curtis album. They go into a cross-marketing promotion with Jay-Z and Rockefeller with Kanye's album, and we want to do a 50 Cent versus Kanye West. And Kanye kind of came up with the concept, like it would be cool, like I'm the little guy going up against the giant 50 Cent who sells all these records, and I was selling records on the low. Kanye was selling just as many records, but on the low. He wasn't like boasting about record sales and all that stuff. So now you got the 2 giants. I'm going straight to the bank with this. They wanted that to be the lead single. Big mistake. That song should have never, ever been a single. If it was a poor selection, I think 50 made that mistake, and they had Amusement Park, and Amusement Park I think was the second one, or the third one. One of them, I don't know, but Amusement Park was first, which was the proper song. But after all of these effects took place, like it was so much craziness going on at the time that, well, get Amusement Park out of here. I think that was the second one. But let's stay with the focus on Curtis. The Curtis album had all these hits on it. All these #1 hit records. It was more commercial than any other 50 Cent album there was. It was short, like as far as the selection of songs, but all the songs, production-wise, was done to perfection. I Still Kill. You got I Get Money, of course. You had so many hits on this record. The one with Timberlake, AO Technology, the one with Robin Thicke, Follow My Lead. You had about 5 singles that could have been #1 records had it been handled correctly. After that promotion, they sold 600,000 in the first week, and then it had such a drop off. Is because the album was so heavily bootlegged. Not everybody had Graduation. They had like a mixtape with some promotion for Graduation, like 50 had before Curtis. And he was upset before the album Curtis even came out, because on that song Southside, you hear him say, everybody talking about Jimmy Iovine, my boss. Nick, but Jimmy Iovine, Nick. I'm from 134th Street. I ain't got no more. Okay, boss. So, because he was mad. Because most of his songs was bootlegged and they was messing up his release date again, and one of his songs was leaked. Already, 50 ripped the TV off of the thing and smashed it in his own house. Ripped the TV off the walls. He calling, yelling at everybody at Interscope. How is this happening? How they got my song? But when he put out that mixtape, because he was hot at the time, he was mad. They already had like songs that he had did already. It was on bootleg. 50 snapped on that South Side. So what they did was like, okay, well, we're going to show him the video he did with Robin Thicke was already leaked on the internet before it was supposed to premiere on 106 in Park. 50 Cent's on 106 in Park, and he's like, you see how you saying we going to a world premiere video? Follow my lead? Yeah. And you see people in here saying, oh, I already saw that. You see that? Yeah. That's because of the internet. It's already been leaked. Now, how is that happening? Where is it coming from? So, the way that album was handled, it should have sold more records than what it did. It had a big drop off after selling 600,000 its first week. I think it sold like maybe another 300, 400,000, and that was it. With all those videos and songs, are you kidding me? And then they were like, well, 50, you're losing your star power. So 50 was like, I know what I did. He's like, I gave y'all what y'all wanted. I gave y'all the commercial songs that y'all wanted, the studio. And I kind of neglected the streets a little bit more. So Before I Self-Destruct was his last record with Interscope, 50 Cent Interscope. This was his last go. And he was more than happy to put this record out because he knew this was it. I did everything right on Before I Self-Destruct. He had a movie he had filmed and he couldn't get it out, so he put it out for free if you bought the album. Well, Before I Self-Destruct movie, which was great. I liked the movie. The ending ticks me off, but it's reality. So I got a CD and a movie. Now, here's the thing. Going into this, 50 Cent got Have a Baby by Me, Baby, Be a Millionaire, Have a Baby by Me, Baby. But all this is going on. Well, I'm going a little too fast. Let me back up a little bit. When he starts signing MOV, Mace, and all these other people in the G Unit. Let me go there first, because this is important. When he had Mobb Deep and all these guys he was signing, and they put out records, and they weren't going nowhere. And it was like, man, I don't know what's going on. All of this stuff was getting bootlegged. And even Eminem went through it a little bit. And the reason, like, man, I don't know why Mobb Deep album didn't take off. You know, it's like, my goodness, that album was hot. Even Fifth didn't understand it. He's like, they did everything right. I don't know why Mobb Deep thing didn't take off. So now that 50 Cent is in this situation now where he's got to, basically come up with a solution to what's going on with his company. He's basically got these guys as tax write-offs on the company. But the Mace situation was something Jimmy brought to him as a peace officer of what happened with the Curtis, because he blamed the fact that he wasn't hands-on with the project, and he felt like he let the ball drop and took the blame. He said, you know what, I want to see this deal happen with Mace so much that I'm willing to waive my percentage. And the reason why he said that was because he was a little ticked off with Puffy at the time. See, Puffy was with Warner Brothers when all this was going down. So when he was with Warner Brothers and all this stuff, that's why he was going to take Mace. And trying to take Mace from Puffy and all this other stuff. And Mace was doing some stuff on the side too. So Diddy didn't, it kind of looked weird to him at the last second after he agreed initially, like, yeah, let's do it. Then things was looking funny. And then after that conversation, that's why Diddy and 50 was able to work stuff out, because they had a conversation and was like, look, dude moving in a whole nother light. You know, so that's how they ended up patching things up the first time over the Mace situation. Because 50 knew how much money that was finna net him. And that was Jimmy's way of saying, I'm sorry about the Curtis album. So I'm going to make it up to you like this. Which 50 was more in tune with. And then right after this, they signed Diddy. And bring Bad Boy over to Interscope. It's like, wait a minute. The deal is off. Now, you got Puffy? How did this happen? Strings was pulled. Deals was done. So instead of getting Mace, he got Puffy. So they didn't care about Mace no more. So now Interscope got Bad Boy Records. So they got Mace anyway. But now 50 gets nothing. So 50 basically got played. Even though he was advertising Mace with G Unit. Now he got egg on his face. So here we go again. And now speed it up to this last album. 50's not finna re-sign with them as an artist. No. He's already know this. This is my last run. I'm finna build my name back up. The streets gonna love this album. Crime Wave was a banger. And Fifth did most of his advertising and marketing through the internet and online, because Interscope was not finna give him the budget. They didn't give him the spins that they normally would give a 50-cent record. This is a 50-cent record. And they're not even showing him love at the radio stations. He's one of the biggest selling artists of all time. And this was during the ringtone era. His ringtones was the top ringtone sellers since Lil Wayne Lollipop. Lil Wayne probably don't even know that where that money gone, or did he even get that money for that ringtone. His ringtone's probably still out there making money. And this is back when the ringtone business was crazy. Now people ain't really into it no more, but during that wave, 50 killed it. He killed the ringtone game. So, you know, they had the album getting ready to come out. Baby By Me, Baby. Have a Baby By Me, Baby. Be a Millionaire. Have a Baby By Me with Neo was a smash. People want to hear it, but it's being smothered. It's being pushed down. Everybody's like, why? Why is this happening? So you got to understand the powers that run this thing. 50 was always mad that he didn't get he had all these sales, but he didn't have any Grammys. He's like, now why they don't want to put 50 Cent on the stage to get a Grammy? You know, I've done all this work, and I have nothing to show for it. And Jimmy said, you know what, 50, I'm going to take care of that for you. Don't worry about it. You know what? I'm going to fix it for you. It's not a problem. Because he helped Eminem with that album, and they trying to bring Eminem back. 50's over there marketing. He did everything they asked him to do, and they took care of him. They bought him a Grammy. as a collaboratory work on, what's that, Pop a Bottle or whatever, with Eminem, Dr. Dre, and 50 Cent. That was the only way, Crack a Bottle or whatever, that's the only way he could get a Grammy. Not for his own work, but for something they robbed Drake. Best I Ever Had was the best song of the entire year. And they got it to Crack a Bottle. Nobody played Crack a Bottle. But Crack a Bottle won the Grammy. And they handed it to 50 Cent. And he was like, there's your Grammy. Just showed you. And that's just tainted it. You just tainted it. It's like, I get it for this song? Crack a Bottle? I done had it in the club. I done had many hits, but I got to get it for Crack a Bottle over Best I Ever Had. No. I don't care what planet you live on. Best I Ever Had was the best song of that year and the most popular song of that year. There's no way Crack a Bottle with Eminem was better than that song. Never. Now, after all of these accolades, when this album come out, all of a sudden the album's bootleg. 50 recorded all of these songs and basically produced in his presence. Like, there's nobody stealing it. So it wasn't stolen by any DJs. They didn't steal it in Detroit when they recorded with Dre. They didn't steal it nowhere when they got the album, because 50 did it in his house. Recording in his house. They didn't steal it there. Where did they steal it from? Overseas. That's what they do. They bootleg your album overseas where it's getting mastered. And the studio will leak it out to anybody that's going to get the copy, and it hits the streets. And it deflates the value. Because it's just like an NFL player who has an incentive contract and he's in a contract year. If he gets 7 more touchdowns, you got to pay him an additional $20 million. What you think that company going to do? They going to put him on the bench for a while. Alternate him for a while. Don't go to him in touchdown situations. They're going to make it more into their favor. Now, when it's time to re-up for that new contract, 50, now they like, well, your album's dipped. This dipped. So this is what we can offer you now in today's climate. But 50's like, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. That's y'all album. I owed y'all another album. That's it. And I'm gone. Do you still want me? Do you think about me? That's the name of that song. With Vivica Fox. Another hit. Another hit record that got a video. The radio loved it. You couldn't hear it no more. Submerged. So, then comes, all of this is done. 50's now, G-Unit is with Interscope. So they still there. G-Unit Interscope Records is still there. 50 Cent as an artist is no longer with Interscope. So now comes, okay, you don't even want to sign back with us? Okay, that's cool. He's like, well, we'll negotiate when you guys make an offer. So Jimmy has another bright idea. They're going to go into the app business, but 50 wants his money. 50's like, I just want my money. And it takes time to calculate all the money from the ringtones, like years it could take before you can get, your funds. Now, during this time, 50 has lost a lot of money in investments that didn't go a certain way. And then all of a sudden, here comes this curveball they finna throw at him. And people didn't realize that 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his, like, you hear about his victories more than his losses. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his investments. 50 was losing a lot on a lot of his invest Like, he lost a lot of money at one point. He had to slow down because of some investments that he had that didn't pan out. So to us, he's rich, but he was kind of on a little downslide, like where it's time to chill and, looking to other ventures because the music thing wasn't panning out. The second G Unit album didn't get pushed the way it was supposed to. Nothing. The studios were not, Interscope was changing. The climate was changing. And they're more moving towards more the younger Lil Wayne type crowd was coming up. So they're like, yeah, we moving towards more of that South sound. No, everybody's tired of the G Unit like sound and all that, the gunshot samples. We don't need all that no more. So they said, all right. Fifth was like, just pay me my money. Now, it took all them years to calculate that, but in the meantime, Jimmy has a bright idea. He's got these beats that he wants to do, Beats Electronic. There's going to be an app. Everybody was involved in the app game. Like, we got this app. It plays all these musics and everything else. So they used the Beats music app and turned that into Beats Electronics, where you could buy these headphones they were going to come out with. They're stationary. They're going to sell them for like $300. There's like 50, you and M, you guys are family. We all going to come in on this thing together. Fifth was like, saw the charts, said, I'll think about it. Next thing you know, 50 comes out with his own headphones. Sleek. They were like, what? They was like, yeah, 50 got a headphones out called Sleek Audio. Sleek Audio? And it looked like an imitation, cheap rendition of the Beats headphones. Immediately enraged Jimmy Iovine was. Jimmy's like, all I did for him. It was like almost more like all the stuff 50 did for you. But it always goes one way. See, when you Jew a Jew, oh, you didn't cross the line. And that's what he did. He Jewed a Jew. Jewish people do that all the time. Take what you do, carbon copy it, and reproduce it. They had Usher, carbon copied him, put out Justin Timberlake. Usher wasn't good enough for us. We needed Justin Timberlake. We needed Justin Bieber to be the heads of R&B, rhythm and blues. Right? We need Eminem to be the king of rap. They did this. Now, moving right along, once this was done, he told 50, I don't like you. They were at an event, a promotional event with Eminem and them. Jimmy made his way over to 50 and he told him, I don't like you. I don't like what you did and I don't like what you stand for. And he was like, man, just because I came up with the same idea? Because 50 bought the company. He's like, the company was already out there. I just bought into it. You knew when we had our headphone thing. You knew. This is a carbon copy of what we already had. And what 50's trying to say is that the company already existed. He just used his money and bought like 50% of the company. Because they came to him for help. When you got money, you get all this, you become like an investment, like loans. All these people come up to you with ideas like, hey, invest in my project. We're going to sell this piece of ice across the land. It's going to feed have enough water to feed people. Just donate this project. It's going to be funded and worth billions. We're going to get the government involved. So you decide if you want to be an investment lender to the project. And that's basically what 50 was. He was the money to SMS. To Sleek Audio. Then SMS Audio came along. And they were compatible. Sleek was cheap. Sleek break in about a week. But SMS Audio, they said 50. Forget that. We're better than Beats. Look at Beats. Now listen to ours. It's the same. Now look at this. They broke it down to 50. They sent 50 a check. 50 came in as part ownership in SMS Audio. SMS Audio, the owners kept paying to have 50 Cent represent the company and represent the brand. Beats got with Apple and decided they were going to attack SNS Audio with everything they had. But Beats was very upset because he even took a shot at Dre and his headphones. Because Dre was like, I didn't even know he had headphones. Dre didn't. So it wasn't really a diss. They were like, Dre dissed you. He didn't know. Dre could care less about 50 Cent or what 50 Cent or somebody else is doing. Dre's mind is on music and whatever Dre's doing. He has no concern about anything or anybody else. So he was like, man, you got headphones? All right, well, whatever. Jimmy took this personal. Jimmy was furious. And 50 Cent couldn't get nobody was going to offer 50 a contract, a record deal. What could you offer him? You couldn't afford him. Not in today's climate. So 50's going to come out as an independent. But 50 need his money. So during this time, 50 is being strangled out of the business musically. So 50 got a hedge fund going, and he's going into, films and movies and doing some other things and investments on the side, but he's staying low key, but still keeping his face out in the public while he's basically waiting around for Jimmy to pay him his money. So 50's going 2 years before he finally gets his money. And when they finally sent him his check for his ringtones, it came out to $24 million. Jimmy Iovine had to cut him a check for $24 million. So the album y'all got, that Animal Ambition album, which was great to me. I love that album. Only people who stupid don't like it. 50, man. Because young people had to adjust to 50 coming back. Because 50 came back a little different and then some the same. He gave you a little bit of both. He was trying to find his way back into the lane. And he said, okay, I know how to do it now. But he had to have a filler album to fill it out and then try to bring Kid, a lot of people in there so y'all can get introduced to these guys. Because 50 was on the grind getting these younger talents to, get in position. And then he was staying mostly with Floyd Mayweather because Floyd going to stay popping and in the news and on social media. So he's basically using Floyd's name, and then it's Floyd and 50, Floyd and 50, Floyd and 50. So 50 names stayed on the top of the, social media chart. Because that's how you do it. Keep your name trending. Now, he gets his $24 million. He puts this album out, and then there comes the smear campaign from Jimmy. They want to crush 50. So here they come with all of this. Sent out they lapdogs, Steve Stout. Go ahead. Jimmy can't do it. See Steve Stout to do it. Well, I just hope with 50 and all his aggressive content, that he can make a hit, because it's been so long, so then he don't have to blame Interscope or anybody else, for any more of his failures. I'm like, wow. They just coming out pulling all the guns, but they going to send their little lapdog to go do it. instead of doing it themselves. Jimmy's not going to come out and say anything negative in public. What Jimmy's going to do is do it behind the scenes. And then point the finger and tell them, do this, do that, do this, do that. They bought XXL magazine. They own it. Any artist they want to put out, they get the cover. Period. 50 Cent was sleeping with the girl to get the cover. He didn't have to. They owned it. They were like, 50, you don't got to sleep with her. We own it. I mean, from them to Kim Osario, I'm like, y'all, they just hip-hop groupies, man. All these little women editors and stuff, they hip-hop groupies, man. It's crazy. You don't know the half. And you look at a situation that's kind of, it's one way. It could be one way, but it's another. And that's with Jimmy. Jimmy sit up there and had the radio stations not want to play Smoke. First, Animal Ambition could get no spins. But Smoke with Trey Songz, oh my God. Girl, what you done to me. And like smoke. I got a 6-disc changer. I got Bluetooth, Apple Music on my phone. I don't even have to go to a CD player ever again in life. But what do? Guess what I did? I got my CD in there, and it's Animal Ambition, the only CD that's in my car, as I speak to you right now. That's how much I love that CD. And it comes with a disc with videos for every song. And if he gave it to you on YouTube for free. Put it out for free there. Because he was already paid $24 million. So he gave y'all this basically for free. So while they trying to say and make y'all believe, 50 losing money, he only sold like 19,000, 20,000. What a drop off. They spent money to bash him in the magazines and in the news to try to say, look at 50. He's falling off completely. He's nothing. So 50 was basically just throwing that out there. He got paid. He was just going to sit back, run his company G Unit, restructure it, and come back later and at a different time. Because his interest now was into film, and he wanted to get more into the boxing management. After he started seeing all the money that was in the boxing, then he created a new fight with Al Heyman. And we'll go into that one next, after this one. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out. And don't forget, if y'all watch the 50 Cent Dr. Dre one, the audio's only bad for like the first 3, 4, 5 minutes, where it's a little messed up, then it fixes itself. All right, I'm out.